Yeah, there really is. We've been talking about it all morning. We've been talking about it all week, haven't we? It's been called the most widespread miscarriage of justice in UK history. A faulty IT system which led to hundreds of sub-postmasters being wrongly convicted after being accused of stealing money.
What we understand this morning is that the government is now looking at ways of fast-tracking the appeals process after, of course, that ITV drama last week shone a spotlight on the whole scandal.
Well, Will Mellor plays one of the affected sub-postmasters, Lee Castleton, in the show. Let's take a look.
23rd of March, right? I'm logged in on Terminal 1. I put in the transaction and it shows up on Terminal 2. That should never happen. That's proof. It's proof there's something wrong with the system.
Lee, the children. The bullying is getting worse.
I know. The only way to stop it is to prove that I'm not a thief, right? It must be a bug. It must be a computer bug or something. Right.
What are you doing? Lee, look, there's 15,000 post offices on that list. Are you just going to randomly call them all up and ask them if the computer is broken?
How else am I going to find someone with the same problem before my case goes to court? I've got to show them it's not just me. Lisa, the post office are suing us for £26,000, which we didn't steal, and we haven't got hanging around in piggy banks.
Well, the real Lee Castleton, a former sub-postmaster, joins us now on the sofa. Morning, Lee.
Morning.
Alongside him, Julie Hesmondhalgh, who you will know stars in the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Lee, what? I mean, I know you've had a hell of a week of it and all the attention, but, you know...
Can I just say I've been on nights?
You've been on nights and come straight here?
No, yesterday I've been 4 nights, so it's all been evolving around, sleepless days.
Well, that's above and beyond. We really value you being here, but to see Will Mellor playing you, your story that has now been seen in this drama by millions and millions of people having such political impact, what is that like?
Oh, it's the oddest thing in the world, but they're great odd, and he's such a star and a great guy, and I'm very appreciative, very, very appreciative.
We've got lots to talk to you about, both of you, but let's just have a look at that moment that you met Will Mellor, who, as we say, played you in the drama.
When I met Lee, I was on my way to BAFTA to do the screening. They had a screening for the press of the drama. And I didn't know Lee was going to be there. And I'm sort of got my coffee in one hand and my suitcase in the other. I'm rushing in. And someone opened the door for me. And I went, "Oh, thanks, mate." And he went, "I'm Lee Castleton." And sort of froze for a second. And I put my bag down my coffee and we just hugged. And it was the first time I met him. And yeah, it was an emotional moment. Because I've been playing him and I know what he's been through. I've read it all and I've been playing it. I've sort of been living it myself. But I also, because I knew... he knew what I knew, so we were both in this moment together, and yeah, it was a magical moment I won't forget.
Will Mellor there. It must be so strange having spent so many years feeling that you weren't being heard, and now you've got Will Mellor playing you in a national show. You've got This Has Gone Global. Everybody is talking about it. How does that feel?
Well, it's just. For everybody, you know, the whole group was originally the 555, the 555 of us. It's not really about just, you know, me. I'm very, very grateful, and Will did a fantastic job, and we really did have that moment that it's kind of, I don't know, it's such a warm person, and you can feel that understanding, and we really sort of got it. I felt, and watching, you know, the drama, you feel as though he really gets it, and as you do with all of the cast. I think the cast is fantastic. To have just that moment in time, that right person doing the right thing in the right way, has obviously cut through and made such a difference to how it's been received. And it's, you know, there's so many emotions going on and so many things that go on in your head that you fought so long, and all of us have fought so long, and tried to be heard, and tried just to allow everything to come out and allow people to finally listen to where you've been and what's happened and why that happened. And even now, we're not really at the full truth. But it is quite fantastic too. And for everyone, you know, I mean, my wife, Lisa, everybody, the whole thing has just been, you know, fantastic. I know it's just a word, and it's hard to say all of the different avenues of that, but it's every different aspect of it has just been raised, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I can feel the relief
coming
from you as you sit here.
Yeah. It has been probably 20 years that I would never like to repeat, and I would never wish on anyone else. But on the other side of that, let's hope that however long we all have left in our lives, that, you know, we can put this behind us and move on.
Julie, you play the part of Alan Bates's partner, Suzanne. The series is called Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Yeah, she didn't do so well with the casting, did she?
She did.
Not as happy as Lee with that
sure
casting.
She's thrilled. But what about the responsibility that you as actors all felt? Yeah, it's always a responsibility playing any part, but real lives, when they've been so affected, that's massive.
Yeah, and with a live issue as well.
Yeah.
You're not talking about something that's been resolved, it's something that's still going on, and we all felt that very keenly from the start, that we knew that this story had the capacity to have a massive impact when it went out. We hoped that. Of course, what's happened has exceeded any of our wildest dreams about what it could have achieved. We're also really aware that it's a very, very rattling thing to be portrayed by an actor on screen. You know, it's never happened to me yet. But I think that you can't underestimate what that feels like, you know, to have your story taken and condensed and put on screen in the way that it has been for all the people that were portrayed. I mean, some are amalgamations of different people. And it can be very, very frightening and rattling. So we all appreciate the generosity of all the real victims of the scandal in the help they've given us.
And we've got a clip, haven't we?
We have got a clip. Let's have a look.
Suzanne?
I'm thinking somewhere quiet. Up in the hills. I can walk, you can paint.
Am I not allowed to walk? Just tell me how we're going to afford any of these places.
We'll work. It's what people do. Now, come on, Suzanne. If we're going to walk away, let's do it with our heads held high.
OK. And so they head off into an uncertain future.
As an actor, I mean, it's a stellar cast. Obviously, amazing to be working with all those people, but how does it feel to be involved with a drama which has really rocked the political establishment and has done something really important?
It's absolutely amazing. We're all thrilled beyond anything that we can really properly express, because I think what drama can do is cut through the facts and figures and the data, and what you're doing is putting real people into people's living rooms, and you are required to put yourself in their shoes. So when Lee, played by Will, stands in court and he's told that he has to pay the court costs, you imagine what it must be like to be in that position when Monica is seeing the figures double in front of her eyes as she's on the phone to the Horizon helpline. You feel what that must be like, and it gives you empathy, and that's what drama can do. And I've seen it happen so many times, you know, from my years in a continuing drama, of course, that you know...
Which was that?
It's Coronation Street. And I think that it can really cut past all that, and especially for something like this, which spans so many years. It's very difficult. You know, people knew little bits of the story from over the years, but it's been very hard to keep any momentum going. There's been really amazing people trying to keep that going for years. Carl from Computer Weekly, Nick Wallace, who did the podcast. Private Eye have done constant work about it, but it's never quite grabbed the public imagination in the way that it has. So now we've got to grab this momentum and keep rolling with it, because, you know, it's big news this week, but we've got to make sure that it stays in people's hearts and minds in the weeks that follow and before the election.
People have to realise that it's still going on. It's not finished. This is just part of the way. You know, there's still such a long journey, and some of the victims being traumatised for 20 years, it's time, really, that things were moved on and moved on quickly.
And how do you do that, Lee? Because, I mean, politicians of all parties are now jumping at this, and everybody wants to act yesterday when... they didn't maybe do enough over more than a decade. What would you like to see?
Well, we need to... everything in the system, everywhere, whether it's CCRC or wherever, isn't set up for 900 wrongly convicted people, and also the system's not set up to listen to 4,000 people's stories to then seek compensation. But we need to find a way, and I think there's so many stumbling blocks and so many complications and so many people that want their own way rather than just getting through it. And
so the idea of our MPs maybe passing a law that would exonerate everyone in one go, is that what you'd like?
Obviously, I'm no lawyer, as I proved in the High Court, and the whole process, however that has to be seen to be done, is about the victims, really. And people were talking about the fact that maybe the judiciary wouldn't be very happy if Parliament stepped in or whatever. Does it really matter? Is it not just about the people at the other end, the victims? Let's just do whatever's the best thing for the victims for once, and just get across that upsetting the judiciary or whomever. And I'm not saying that there's a part to play for everybody, and that part needs playing and moving forward as quickly as possible, really.
Well, Lee, I think everybody is so pleased that this issue that deserved so much attention is now finally getting that attention. And Julie, I mean, it's an extraordinary drama. Thank you both so much for coming and talking to us this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a real friendship here, isn't it? Yeah.
We sat next to each other at a screening, didn't we? We cried together. We cried together, and I was like, I'm sure this must be somebody, one of the victims. And he was like, I'm Lee. Yeah, we watched it together for the first time. Yeah, that was quite a moment.
In the BAFTA theatre, we sat next to each other.
Thanks for coming in, especially when you're so exhausted.
Yeah, well.